the Gorilla Mind energy drink, and then I also made a little. I've been liking, by the way, the energy drinks have been like my go-to because it's not like strong, but it's not like weak. And I've been trying to wean off caffeine for a while now, and it's like impossible. So it's like that perfect in between. And then for like pump, I'll do 10 milliliters of tadalafil, and then I also do have an intra workout, which is just EAAs and a hydration stick. Today we're gonna hit back. I actually started going to a new gym. If you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you probably see that I film in a new location, and my God, it's so much better than Crunch Fitness that I was going to prior, and the lighting, the equipment, just everything. It's at EOS, and they just opened up a few weeks ago, and yeah, I'm at EOS now, which I'm just really thankful for that. It's a little bit far. I have to take tolls to get there. It's not too far. It's like 25 minutes, but it's so worth it. Like, especially considering that this at this point is my job. Like, I want an environment that I can genuinely enjoy, and I'm not getting like pestered, or the equipment's taken all the time, or it's just like, I don't know. I didn't like Crunch at all, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm very happy with this change. um Other updates though, because I really haven't filmed since I was in California, and I was like, I need to film a YouTube video, and I feel like back day has been kind of requested, because that's been like the TikToks that have been popping off me when I film on my back days. So I'll show you guys exactly what I do. But I've been cutting. I'm nearing the end. I woke up at 173.5 today. So yesterday I woke up at 172.5, and I somehow gained a pound within that time frame. I don't know what I did. Maybe because I had more carbs yesterday compared to the day before. I think the day before was a low carb day, but like yesterday was like probably 100, 120, something like that. So not even that crazy. But I'm trying to get to 170. And after that, I'll be done cutting, back in the surplus. I won't be hungry anymore. Right now I'm eating like 1800, which sounds pretty insane, but I'm just trying to get it done with. I was at 2100 last week, so I was like, I'm just going to drop it and see how far I can get. So yeah, we're going to aim for 170. But aside from that, Lucas comes tomorrow. I have to pick him up from the train station, and then we'll be going back to California Friday, which is pretty insane. Like, I feel like I was just there. So I just want to thank you guys as well. Like, the amount of support this past month, this whole year, like 2025 alone, it's only been 2 months, but you guys have been like showing insane support. Like, you guys are literally changing my life right now, and I just can't thank you guys enough. I truly am like grateful from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that I can continue to give back to you guys. We're about to hit 100K on TikTok. I'll be making sure that I do a giveaway once we hit 100K for the month of March, and yeah. But I also did get a question too on my Snapchat. If you guys don't have me on Snapchat, add me, because you're always welcome to swipe up on my stories, and every now and then I'll check and respond to questions. But there's this one guy, and obviously I've been cutting lately, right? So there's this one guy, and he was talking about how he constantly he does relatively really good for most of the day with eating, and then he'll get this urge to just pound some chips. And it's like, you have to, when you get these urges, right? At least this is what I personally do when I get these urges, because obviously I get them too. I can be disciplined, but like, I get these urges where I just want to crash out, eat. I think this whole like year, these past 2 months, I have not eaten out. Um, Maybe like once or twice, and it wasn't like anything like nasty, like fast food. So, but when you get these urges, you got to ask yourself, right? Like, would you rather get that temporary satisfaction that is just going to turn into guilt after the satisfaction part? And this applies to so much. It could be masturbation, or like just anything that gives you temporary pleasure for such a little time. Would you rather have that versus something that has a bit more longevity, like attaining a goal that you really want? Like, whenever you set these goals and you get things that interfere, it's always like the devil trying to like throw stuff at you to throw you off track from what you're trying to achieve. So you got to ask yourself, is that temporary satisfaction going to be worth it? You know, like 99% of the time, that temporary satisfaction isn't worth it. I'm not saying that you can't go out, have a donut or something like that. Like, go for it. You live once, you got to enjoy life. But it's just like, if you have a goal and you want to achieve that goal, be real with yourself. Like, be realistic. Make sure that you are doing everything in your power to not get thrown off track. At least for me, like, if I get thrown off track, it's easy to snowball, you know? And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. A lot of people, they have one mistake in their diet and they're like, you know what? They throw the whole day away. And then they throw the whole week away. And then it becomes this endless cycle. And you don't do your cardio or something. And then you just stop doing cardio. It's like, bro, don't let that one minuscule thing affect you. But also be conscious of your decisions when you make your decisions. But yeah, I just figured I'd talk about that because urges are real and they're difficult to just freaking handle. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm about to get going. We're about to hit back and I'll see you guys at the gym. I just arrived at EOS, but something that I think is very important, and I kind of went over this in another video, is pre-workout ritual. Very important. Make sure that you're just one. You become one with yourself, one with your mind prior, and you go in there with intention. I think intention is something that's very important that a lot of people lack, especially early on in lifting. Because when I first started lifting, I'd go in there just going through the motions, like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and that, and I'm going to get out, and that's it. And like, I'm going to do 10 to 15 reps, blah, blah, blah. Kind of just like fooling around and, you know, just trying to get in there, do what I have to do and get out. But like, when you go in there with a set plan, knowing what you have to do, making sure that every single rep counts, it truly makes a difference. So if any of you guys follow my program too, you'll know just how like valuable that stuff is. But yeah, most of my workouts, I mean, I'll probably be explaining this in the voiceover, but each body part probably gets 5 to 7 sets per week, and 5 to 8, I'd say, and then between like a 4 to 7 rep range typically. So, but we're about to go crush this shit. I'll show you guys what EOS looks like, and we're gonna be showing you guys how to get a fucking demon back. So, okay, so as soon as I walk in the gym, I go straight to the locker room, and pretty much what I do here, typically I'll start off by going to the sauna and I'll warm myself up, but even before that, I'll get my straps ready, I'll get my headphones ready, my playlist ready. Like, I just want to be prepared. I want to be as prepared as possible for the lift. And I think today actually, I didn't go off a playlist. I do have a SoundCloud playlist in my Instagram, but a kind of cool trick to do is if you really like a song, you go on SoundCloud, you search it up, and you play it, it'll give you recommended songs, like basically like a radio station for that kind of music, and you kind of get good music, and that's what I did today. So the vibes were up, but pretty much I go in here, get myself situated. Usually I'll hit the sauna. Today I didn't, but if I don't hit the sauna, or if you don't have a sauna, you can warm up by putting the heater on in your car before you head out. But after you get situated and you get all warmed up, just know that today, with my back days, I have 2 different back days. I have a pull day, and then I have a chest and back day where I'll do some back movements as well. And today we're only doing 5 sets of back. So we do 5 sets of back, 2 sets of bicep, and then 2 sets of rear delt. But before any of that, you want to make sure you warm up properly. And this goes for every single workout. You want to make sure you warm up. And for back days specifically, I'll either roll out, I'll dead hang, and then I'll crank some pull-ups as well so I can start getting lat engagement. And then after my pull-ups, I'll grab a cable. I'll do single arm lat pullovers. Very lightweight, of course. You don't want to fatigue yourself with any of this. And you pretty much just want to let that thing, like, pretty much when I do lat movements, I just imagine I'm driving my elbow down to my hip. And you let your elbow drive all the way back. And that should help with lat engagement if you struggle with it, because I used to. I feel like with lat movements, it can be very easy to let your bicep or forearm take over. But for our first movement, we do this hammer strength plate loaded lat pull down. And honestly, any form of lat pull down. So what I do, by the way, I alternate. Some back days I'll start with a row, some back days I'll start with a pull down. And as you can see earlier, pretty much the first warm-up set, we do 3 warm-up sets. The first warm-up set is to pretty much just make sure the settings of the machine are correct, and that you're feeling the engagement. And then after that, I throw on a couple extra plates on there. Got good 3 reps of like a medium weight. And then since I've been cutting as well, my strength has not been up to par. So I added to 25 to see how that felt, and that felt pretty good. So I went up to 4 plates here, and then after that, it got a lot heavier than I expected. So I think I was only able to do 5 reps, but 5 reps is honestly a perfect amount. I think the best like rep range to stay between is 4 to 7, especially if you're trying to progressive overload and train in that sense. 4 to 7 rep range between, I want to say 0 to 1 RIR is like perfect. And if you're not familiar with RIR, pretty much that means reps in reverse. And 0 to 1, basically 0 meaning you can't physically do any more reps, 1 meaning you have 1 left in the tank, and so on and so on. But as you can see, after that, I deloaded a little bit. I wanted to have a bit more control with my reps, just to make sure that I was getting a nice like actual stimulus from this exercise. And I believe I dropped down to 3 plates in a 25 and a 10, and I think I got the same amount of reps. So yeah, this cut has definitely played a role in my strength. But after that, once you do your pull down, I go into another back movement, and this will be your row movement. And for today, what I do have programmed is a straight bar cable row. And of course, we'll do a warm-up set. Typically after my first exercise, I only do 1 to 2 warm-up sets. I believe for this exercise, I only did 1. So, and the idea here is you're leaning forward, and then you come back till you're at a 90-degree angle. You let your elbows drive back, and you want to feel your rear delts in this. Your rear delt, your trap, your upper back. That's like the main focus for this exercise. So pretty much I just try to imagine that I'm driving my elbows back, but like straight forward rather than down. And I feel like that has been working the best for me. And I feel like a lot of my rear delt growth has actually contributed to this exercise right here. And then I also do 2 sets for this exercise. Another thing that I kind of want to touch on is also rest time. So in between each set, I usually take about, depending on the exercise, right? Some exercises like a hack squat can be very, very physically demanding. So I'll take about 5 minutes to rest for a hack squat, 5 to 6 minutes. But something like this, I usually take about 2.5, 3 minutes. I think it's like a nice sweet range, especially for this type of training where your whole intention is to progressive overload, get stronger and get bigger, and put on as much muscle as you can. Having that extra amount of rest in between your sets will allow you to be as prepared as possible for your next set and allow you to produce as much output as you possibly can. And I think another key thing is the timing of your eccentrics and your concentrics. And pretty much, if you're not familiar, your eccentric, right, I'm doing these curls. The eccentric is me right now going down with the dumbbell. The concentric is me going up with the dumbbell. And you just want to make sure they're controlled. And obviously you're just not swinging the weight around. And I do 1 warm-up set with 35s, and I move right into my working set with 55s. Same idea here. I think a lot of people get arms very confused, and I was one of those people before. And I've noticed so much more growth now that I've been training with high intensity and low volume. And just because it's a different muscle group doesn't mean that it responds differently. So make sure that you're actually training pretty heavy with decent form. Obviously, I think my form isn't the best. I'm swinging a little bit, as you can see, but my bicep is definitely getting a lot of work here. So stop training with the 4 sets of 15 with the 20-pound dumbbell. Train heavy, good form, and you're gonna fucking grow, I promise. And I think right here, one of my followers actually recognizes me, and he asked me a very important question. I believe his name is Royer. I'm not the best with names, but Royer, if you're watching this, big shout out to you, bro. Ask your question one more time.
Well, what's your recommendation to like bulk up and stay lean?
Okay, so pretty much my suggestion for like just bulking and trying not to put on as much unnecessary fat as you can. Literally, it's funny because like earlier in the car I was just talking about this. It's like I feel like a lot of people have temptations, and I feel like when we bulk, we give ourselves that leniency that, you know, you could just eat whatever you want.
but that's just not the case. So like, if you stick to like I say a good ratio, it's like 85-15 to 90-10 of like 90-85 being clean, whole foods, to like that low 10%, you know. What I used to do, I would give myself one cheat meal throughout the week. I'd make it at the end of the week to make it easier. But another factor is, aside from like sticking to whole foods and making sure your macros are on top of it, there's two things. There's making sure you do your cardio, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, it makes a big difference. And then also, what was I gonna say? Oh, carb cycling. If you're not familiar with carb cycling, basically what it is you're conscious of how much carbs you're taking. So you'll have a carb high day, carb low day, carb medium day. And basically on your carb high days, you introduce a lot of carbs into your diet. You use them. Imagine your carbs are like a tank, right? You have a certain limit. Once you pass that limit, it turns into fat. So if you eat like, let's say 350 carbs a day, you're gonna get an excess, and that's gonna turn into fat. So the trick is, you have a carb high day where you're like 350, 400 carbs. I mean, it depends obviously on the person, but you have a carb high day, and then the next day you'll have like a carb low day where it's like 100 grams. And that way you keep your tank in check and you're maximizing your efficiency of your carbs. There's a good video on YouTube, I'll probably put in the description, that like describes it really well. But that is like low-key a cheat code that not a lot of people know about. But yeah, bro, of course, man, don't worry.
But again, it's very nice to meet you, bro. I hope I didn't yap your ear off and you were able to grasp something out of that and gain something out of that. But right back at it with the dumbbell curls, and same ideology, pretty much, you know, 4 to 7 reps, 2 sets. And then I also do, just so you guys know, I have an arm day later in the week, and I'll do 4 sets of bicep on that day. And pretty much, if you're not familiar, my split right now is chest, shoulders, tries, back, bi, quads, calves. And then I do shoulder, arms, 2-3 sets of shoulders, 4 sets bicep, 4 set tricep, and then chest, back. And then I do hamstrings and glutes, and that is my current split, and that's been like working really well for me. I know a lot of people have been doing upper lower. I'm not going to convert. Honestly, I'm not going to convert. I really like how my split is programmed right now, and as soon as I bulk, the strength gains are going to go crazy. So hopefully by next bulk, at the end of it, I'm curling like 70 plus. But yeah, so then after that, we get into a cable row. I like to do an isolated cable row. I do like to incorporate an isolated back movement on my pull days. And here we're doing our little warm-up set. Make sure that we're feeling it properly. And pretty much there's 2 ways you can go about this. We're only doing 1 set here. You could either do a lat focus, or you could do a mid-row or mid-back focus, mid-upper back focus for this row. I prefer to do a lat focus, as my pull day this week is going to be a bit more lat bias. And pretty much the way you do that is, when you drive, you want to tuck your elbow in. You want to bring it in, and you're going to see right here, right? So I'm pretty much driving with my elbow low and in. And versus a mid-back, you're just kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but you're just rolling that mid-back like back around. And you're really going to feel that stretch in like that trap area, mid-back. There's also another machine that actually wasn't open. I was waiting for it, but it just took too long. There's a low to high row that I really like, and that you could also do the same thing where I mean, with any row, you could bias your lat or you could bias your mid upper back. But I really like getting both angles of my lat when I do a pull down and I do a row for them. I think that feels really nice. But the low to high row was taken, sadly. So when I do another, if you guys want to see more of these, let me know in the comments, because I'll do it for every fucking day of my split if you guys want me to. But yeah, that's enough for back. We're finishing off with 2 sets of rear delt. Of course, last exercise, you're only doing 1 set. And I've been liking the reverse pec deck. I kind of alternate between cable, reverse pec deck, or dumbbell. I think honestly what got my rear delts big, aside from like that row where like the dumbbell rear delt flies, I think those are pretty insane. But the reverse pec deck is actually pretty good too, if you set it up right. So as you guys see here, I'm not like sitting on the seat, I'm kind of standing, and pretty much you just want to let your elbows drive you back. I think elbows are like a key
they're a key part in like every movement, as I feel like they're just like your guide, your driver. You want to imagine that nothing else exists and you're just driving those elbows back, and you're gonna feel the engagement a lot better. And one big thing that I completely forgot to mention throughout the workout, so you guys can see here, I always forget to take off my straps or wraps at the end of the workout. So if you ever see my videos and I'm wearing them, that's probably why. But we do use wrist straps, and lifting straps will make a big difference. You could just get them on Amazon. Brand doesn't really matter, but they do make a big difference in like feeling engagement when you do your back workouts. I feel like a lot of my forearm growth, I get that question a lot, right? Like, what do I do for forearms? I don't train forearms, nor have I ever trained forearms. And I think a lot of it was due to the fact that I didn't use straps in the past. But that also kind of created a thing where, I don't know if you guys can tell, I feel like I have a lat imbalance. I know my lats are a bit uneven. Like I believe my left one starts a lot higher than my right one. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I think straps, honestly, are like the key. Use straps. Don't neglect it. But this is how I back day. Lat focus back day, I suppose. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want more of this, leave it in the comments, please.